intertubes. Now, the next match is going to be Overgrowth. The two players are, again, well, actually, we've been talking about one of the top players on each team, but I do think that these are the best records of anyone. This is Solid Luck, who's 9-1 on his team, representing National Instruments. We also have Peter Miller, Luminescent, the team captain of Team Microsoft, who is currently on a 17-0 win streak, one of the longest win streaks in the history of AHGL. I believe only bested by a 19-0 aberration that happened many, many moons ago. So in this match, the player who has the chance to close it out for his team is also the strongest contender for the best run in AHGL.
I'm actually really impressed with some of the records that these guys have. You can really see, obviously it makes sense that the teams that made it to the final are the seeding players that have good records, but 5-0, obviously extremely solid. 9-1 for Solid Luck, who is a Master League Protoss player, basically a GM, Terran, and Zerg. You know, that's how it works, right, Sean?
Indubitably.
Yeah.
But you got to choose Protoss. That's the good strats. Am I right? Let's take a look at the map, Overgrowth, which I think it's just, I would call it a very nice map. It's not unusual or weird like you would have with a merry-go-round or a habitation station. I mean, this map is just more or less a standard-looking map. You begin on the highest ground. You go down your small ramp to your expansion. It points inward to the expo as opposed to outward, where you could easily aggress against it. There's two large ramps that you can secure the high ground pod. I honestly think we're going to just have a lot of passive, slow, deliberate play on this map.
Yeah, would you say it's sort of like a modern version of Cloud Kingdom, like in a weird way?
Oh, that's a perfect way to describe it. I think the biggest difference between this map and Cloud Kingdom, though, is that you are even safer against Blink. I mean, Cloud Kingdom is a great map to do Blink aggression, but here, I mean, look at that top right base. Where are you going to blink in? All that shrubbery that hides behind that expansion makes it really hard to blink up anywhere except right outside the enemy Protoss's front. So he more or less has one place to keep his army.
Yeah, I really like this map. I think it's my favorite of all the Neo maps, even though I think Merry-Go-Round is a very fun map to play on as well. But I think PvP on this map is one of the most fair matchups you can get in StarCraft 2, as far as that makes sense. Yeah. You know, it's just, there's nothing that's like ridiculously strong against the other strategy. There are multiple builds that are good on this map, but nothing is going to put you really far ahead or really far behind. Yeah. Then it's relatively safe to expand, and it's easy to scout with hallucination. So often you can just say like, hey, I win this game, I deserve to win it, or if I lost, I could have done something better.
And I think that really means that you have to have an extremely strong grasp of the late game, because, you know, if you don't, there's no way you're going to win in the early game whatsoever. Down in the bottom left-hand corner, currently the winningest player around from Team Microsoft, hoping to close it out for his team. It's Luminescent. And in the top right, all the hope is in his basket. We've seen against the villainous Microsoft, even Come On Man has fallen. Can Solid Luck change things? Give a cheer for him if you want to see National Instruments pull it back. Go Solid Luck.
There's a lot of support for at least more games, Sean. I guess that's what every StarCraft 2 fan is always cheering for. Doesn't really matter who wins in the end for us, but we would love to see more games. I'm pumped for this one, Sean. I really like the little history that you just gave us, as Luminescent is an undefeated player for so extremely long, winning 17 games in a row. Right now going up against a Master League Protoss player that is currently 9-1 and has the hopes of his team on his shoulders. Like, that's pretty much all that information alone already makes this a very fun and exciting matchup. And because it's PvP, it's always a little extra fun for me, as this is my main race, and I think this is a really fun and beautiful matchup.
And you know, this is, I think, a great example of why Luminescent's win rate is so high. He's dipping around his entire main base, just investigating, making sure that there's no pylons or anything hidden, and being very, very thorough. Do you think perhaps excessively thorough?
I mean, once you decide to go with a scout, he's definitely perhaps overdoing it a little bit. But then again, perhaps he's just going to send this probe across the map right now. You'd rather be safe than sorry, especially when your win record, when your undefeated record is on the line. You know, you're 17-0. The last thing you want to lose to, or see his streaks drop, is to two gateways in your base that are pumping out zealots at the 3-minute mark. So I think it's fine. You know, he could have saved a few extra minerals, but it's such a big game that I don't think we have to fault him for that.
Yeah, and I mean, of course, the amount that you lose for that there is no build order that would exploit that on this map. I mean, maybe on others where you really do want to get your warp gate 10 seconds earlier because that's just enough time to stay alive. You're going to have the mothership core. This entire zone is very easy to defend. This is obviously the attack angle for the enemy Protoss, but your ramp is tucked inward, as we talked about before, making it very easy to defend.
Even the Cybernetics core is still a little bit quicker for Luminescent than it is for Solid Lock. This, of course, means that Solid Lock will have a slightly better economy. As you guys can see right now, he's up one worker. One worker in one base is not the end of the world. We also see the second gate being wiped in, so this could be some traditional 3-stalker with a Mothership core aggression. Or he could even do what I think you like quite a bit, Sean, after the first few units are out. Add one more gateway to the mix and then put on some 3-gateway pressure.
Yeah, I mean, 3-gate pressure on this map, one of the reasons I like it is it's the same formation we were looking at before. This entry angle, how does Red want to defend here? Well, Solid Lock would generally position his units roughly here, so that way he can cover his ramp and dart up and down in case of blanks. But throwing force fields down in this area allows Immortals to just pick off the entire Nexus. And a great way to have enough forces to do that is to open up with that gateway aggression style. However, we're seeing Solid Luck do a very interesting opening, going first for a sentry and then for a Stargate. Love it.
Yeah, he's playing a safe version of the Stargate, which I like. He's also scouting quite a bit with the Mothership Core. Has to be very careful, because there are builds which could snipe this Mothership Core. Johan Merlo, also known as Todd, always makes fun of me for worrying about Mothership Cores dying, but it is a realistic possibility, especially when you see right now there are already 3 Stalkers out on the map, so something bad could have happened. But fortunately for Solid Lock, that is not going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, exactly what you're talking about. Well, it doesn't happen that much of the time. I mean, Solid Luck is thinking this so much, because it's not one of those ladder games where you're like, it generally doesn't happen, not a big deal. You're thinking, oh god, if I lose this Mothership Core, everyone's going to be so mad at me.
Oh, I like what he's doing. He's starting off with the Phoenixes, but he follows it up with the robotics facility immediately, in case he has to worry about Blink Stalkers, which is always strong against Stargate play. He has access to those Immortals, and of course Immortals, they are deadly against Stalkers. This Scout will not really be able to see all that much. That Sentry took out some raids on the Stalker, that was funny. But this Phoenix will see these Stalkers move across the map. But so far, on paper, this is looking quite okay for Solid Lock. As long as there is no expand for Luminescent, these Phoenixes eventually should pay for themselves.
Yeah, the big question right now is, can Solid Luck avoid investing in too many Stalkers?
He should actually go for this, Sean. Like, this is a realistic opportunity for Solid Lock to just go for that Mothership Core immediately and try to kill it.
I mean, like, I'm counting. I see 3 and 3 and 1 and 1 and some change and a lot more change.
The change is really important. A penny saved is a penny earned, and 2 Phoenixes extra is much more worth than a penny.
It's 2 Phoenixes earned. In this position, Solid Luck is trying to avoid as much as possible spending his gas on anything but the high-tech units. Phoenixes, Immortals, and then eventually Colossus. Luminescent now is going to have to devote a lot of his gas to building anti-air, because soon enough there's going to be 3 to 6 Phoenixes invading into his main base. And uh-oh, what is this coming in? Uh-oh. Hallucinate Phoenix is not going to get a scout. That's actually pretty important.
Yeah, it's very important. Well done there by our Red Protoss player, who's also dropping the expand on his own. So like Sean said, he's behind a few workers, but it's inevitable that these Phoenixes get some kills. That's just supposed to happen, especially when there is no blink out on the map. Yes, there will be Photon Overcharge, and Photon Overcharge is going to keep the base safe for a little while, but in the end of the day, these Phoenixes, they can fly in even when Photon Overcharge is there and still pick off a few workers.
What's interesting is that it's very easy to want to pick off juicy targets like the Sentry, but it's most important to maintain enough energy to still be a threat. You want to make sure you are containing your opponent, because I mean, look at Solid Luck right now. He doesn't have anything but a single Immortal, and that's great against Stalkers in low numbers, but once things get starting to move across the map and the numbers get high enough, Luminescent can easily overrun. These Phoenixes are the very thin defense for our red player Solid Luck right now.
I really wonder why he's going with the Twilight console. Of course, a natural transition is normally to go for Blink. Well, we see one of these Phoenixes flying in and getting at least one worker kill. Blink is a logical follow-up, but I actually think it would be better to go for the Templar Archives immediately and try to get High Templars to feed back the Phoenixes and have access to the Archons. That would be a real high-level play, because I feel if he gets Blink right now, other than defending, he's getting charged. Well,
interesting,
but I like it more than Blink, Sean. As he's getting a Templar Archive as well. I actually think this is a very, very good play by our Protoss.
And again, another Photon Overcharge pops out. Might look very excessive. It's not really doing too much, but Solid Luck has a 0% chance of doing any other sort of aggression. This is a hefty investment because, you know, if you invest in Stalkers to help you stay alive, those are going to be useful all game long. Or a Robo, you're going to be using it all game long. A Stargate, no longer being used for Solid Luck. So these Phoenixes have distracted from doing any other play. Photon Overcharge is an absolutely excellent answer in this spot.
And you know what I really like? Like, normally you could say if Solid Luck sees what he sees and would have known what we know right now, he could have gone up to 5 or 6 Phoenixes because they should have been worth their investment. But when you see the Twilight console already, you might think like, oh, Blink is on the way, so yeah, I'm not going to invest in Phoenixes anymore. Well, actually, the opposite is true. And I feel that Luminescent is gearing up for a very strong 2-base attack, where he has more Immortals than his opponent, he will have Archons, and he will have Charge. And that is actually going to be a deadly attack. We do see that the Colossus transition is on the way for Solid Luck, but it's tricky.
Missed a feedback opportunity. I mean, even this small number of Phoenixes is doing quite a lot of benefit. Solid Luck now has map control. He has just secured everything at the front, and I love this from Luminescent. You don't need a lot of units to expand here. You're in great shape against almost any army that Solid Luck's going to have at this point in time.
Okay, he's also researching Blink right now. There's obviously nothing wrong with ever getting Blink, and he's getting a Robo Bay, but he's getting his third base so much quicker than his opponent. With all the gateways that he has, I really feel that this is an opportunity for Luminescent to be active on the map, you know, to make it harder for Solid Luck to go up to 3 bases.
I mean, this is Solid Luck having a lot of confidence in his build. He's saying, you know what? I have enough to defend. If you're taking a third, I'm going to take my third. It looks like Solid Luck has not yet spotted the Archons, but he has seen the Templar Archives? Looks like yes.
Yeah, he has seen it. I really think that Luminescent should try to do something, try to march across the map. If he doesn't do it, I don't think that's bad or something. Like, he's still in a good position. Like you said, he's up in supply. His third base is a little quicker. He already started upgrading as well. And overall, he has a pretty strong and intimidating army. But I think if he would have tried to deny that third base on the north side of the map, I think he would be getting his money's worth.
Well, there's one more snipe on the probe. A fairly critical probe, actually, the one going to make the gas geyser. There's not really much a Protoss player can do
Sentry
without
exposed.
gas. Oh, this is a very nice pickup. Early on, you want to keep the sentries alive to pick off probes, but later and later, 3 Nexuses chrono boosting, not a high-value target. That sentry, on the other hand, the only scouting material for Luminescent right now.
Yeah, overall it's a very even game. I felt that things were shaping up very good for Luminescent, but right now I really like where Solid Luck is going to. He's quite far ahead in the upgrades. He's already getting his 2nd robotics facility. He's slightly ahead in the Colossus production. I believe he's like 1 Colossus ahead. And he also has access to that 2nd Robo a little bit quicker. His Archons are later, but we all know that as long as you just bank up some gas the time that your Templar Archives finishes up, you just wipe in a bunch of high Templars and you get your Archon count up as well. So very even game, I'd say, very even.
Yeah, I mean, despite the fact that we haven't really seen a lot of attacking between these 2 players, this is a hyper tense spot for Solid Luck. He has to be so careful, but this is what's making this build so strong, his ability to spot and preempt these kinds of moves.
Yeah, great spotting there and having the units in the right position. Those Stalkers can be deadly. We all know the Force Stalkers. They can blink in, they can one-shot probes. It's very annoying to deal with in a mirror matchup, especially if you don't have blink yourself, so your army is a little slower and immobile. But great unit positioning there by Solid Luck.
I mean, Solid Luck is going to be up against Warp Prism soon enough. Luminescent is basically saying, well, you know what? You have been spending so much energy getting your Colossus count up high now. I'm going to begin doing warp-ins in the main. And the weird thing is that if you warp in 6 Zealots in a main, your enemy might have to warp in something like 10 or so just to feel safe against that Warp Prism. All your Zealots die, but their Zealots stay alive, and suddenly you have a better maxed army than they do.
Stalkers again are going to try to make something happen over here on the left side of the map, as +2 is about to finish up for these Stalkers. Cute blink micro over there. He picks up a Stalker and he doesn't really lose anything himself, so still a good trade. Of course, he would rather get some probes, but, you know, getting a Stalker, nothing wrong with that.
Luminescent making just such great value out of these blink units. I mean, I think that's one of the hardest things to do in PvP is to maintain usefulness of those blink stalkers throughout the entire game, because they're so useless in the final army fights when they aren't dealing any bonus damage to the Archons, Immortals are blasting away at them, Zealots are right on them, and of course the Colossus raining down above.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, and it's a very good point. We see that the probe count is extremely even between both players as well. Even a fort base going down already for Luminescent in the right bottom side of this map, while Solid Lock is getting his own Templar archives, and we see 2 Stargates already on the production tab. I really like that against the double robo play from Solid Lock.
Oh, this is a great attack by Luminescent. He's darting in, he's starting to hit this cannon at the left, and he's done a massive Zealot warping in the main base. What will Solid Luck do? He has to split his army up perfectly, but this is great placement from Solid Luck, and it looks like he's gently repelling both sides of this engagement.
Yeah, so far an excellent hold. He does warp in all these Zealots, like you mentioned, and these Zealots are going to be trapped for a little while. But I do feel that time is the enemy right now, though, for Solid Luck. If he would be aware of those 2 Stargates, and also the Dark Shrine that's going up, let's not forget how deadly Dark Templars can be in that matchup, or in this matchup. I think it's important that Solid Luck starts thinking aggressively. So far his defense has been impeccable, the map control with the Phoenixes has been good, but he wants to fight before his opponent has Tempest.
We're seeing the hidden benefit of those early Phoenixes, the ability to not just repel initially, but begin to lock it down once you are aware of it. They now have a clear job of patrolling the right side of the map, ensuring nothing else warps in there ever again. And in terms of those maxed armies, we see it's a 9 Colossus to 5 Colossus differential with 25 almost useless Zealots for Luminescent.
Yeah, we see Stargates on both sides right now. Extra Stargates being warped in for Solid Lock. The 3 Stargate count is really crazy because you can, you know, pumping out 3 Tempests in a matter of 60 seconds or something is just ridiculous. Both players getting a fleet beacon. This is the way that PvP is played late game, Sean, and I love it what both players are showing us.
Solid Luck has found an opportunity. It looks like these Zealots
High Templars
managed to pick off a total of 600 gas with ease, losing all these Stalkers without doing much at all. I mean,
he's getting more of them.
What is it? No, he's going to lose 4 Archons total. A tremendous gas investment. Solid Luck barely keeps 1 alive, so it will be 3, but that's still huge.
Yeah, that's a very nice pickup. Just for Zealots, like just minerals in this phase in the game. As we can see in the right top side of the map, or of the screen, he has plenty of minerals, 2,000 minerals available right now, while his opponent just wasted a lot of gas. This is a scary moment, though, for Luminescent. He doesn't have any Tempest just yet. He has less Colossus. He should be able to get himself in a good position, though, from the high ground over here. Solid Luck's gonna have to be careful how he wants to engage this.
Solid Luck carefully pulling back, trying to get the large concave. Right now, the army values are what matter. It's 9 Colossus, 2 Archons versus 6 Colossus, 4 Archons. Could have been a lead in both those categories for Solid Luck had he not accidentally lost those critical Templar in the mid-map. And of course, Luminescent is beginning to do these swing-around counters with the Dark Templar, trying to get as much value as he can out of them.
This is going to be a really fun phase of PvP, because slowly but steady you'll see both players sacrificing the Zealots, the Stalkers, basically all the early game units for more Tempest, and most likely a lot more Archons as well. And sometimes it even reaches the crazy phase of PvP where people start donating Colossus, and of course that sounds ridiculous because Colossus are such an expensive unit and they are often so good. Ooh, these Dark Templars are going to do some serious work as well.
There's no detection here. There's gonna the cannon at the back is barely finishing up in time.
Zealots. Oh, he's maxed out. He can warp in one with. Oh, I love the whole position of the 1 Zealot. Very smart.
Oh, vision range was enough. Cannon range wasn't, so Zealot finishes the job. Great pylon that's been snuck at this far right side, and Luminescent is taking the gold base. I mean, this is, as we talked about before, there's really no early edge. It's all about your late game and Solid Luck moving forward with 2 Tempests, trying to find that window of opportunity.
Yeah, in this phase in the game, it's still, I wouldn't go too crazy on the Tempest or Archons, I guess, is always a good choice, but right now I wouldn't make too many Tempests. I think both players would benefit from getting a fight with their Colossus, and I'm pretty damn sure that we are going to see one, but attacking into a guy that also has Colossus, Time Warp, and Tempest is so difficult.
So much pressure right now for Solid Luck. He has to win this in order to give his team a chance at victory. Luminescent needs to win this to get victory. Be careful, Luminescent runs headlong into that. Will immediately lose a single Tempest, but they're beginning to trade Tempest. Oh, Solid Luck sees an opportunity to toss away some of those useless Zealots, as you said.
Yeah, he got a Tempest over there, and he took some damage on his Colossus. But above all, I think both players have to be very careful. What would you say, Sean? What is the magic number of Tempests you want? Like, normally you want 5 to one-shot a Colossus, but
absolutely,
it's really nice to have a backup Tempest.
Oh, it looks like the engagement begins, and it's unclear who has the better angle. We see a lot of Colossus for Luminescent at the backside, not participating. Solid Luck waits until his Colossus can stampede forward. They're going to rip down that front line. It's Colossus ripping Colossus to shreds, and Solid Luck gets a leading engagement. 3 more Stargates for Luminescent, as he's going to be going up to 5 Stargates total. I mean, right now, gateway units are suddenly going to become very valuable again, and it looks like Solid Luck is going to take the opportunity in bottom right.
Yeah, Warp's in a crazy amount of zealots. I feel that Luminescent could have had his Tempest a little longer in that fight, because the only thing that was left were just Tempest and Colossus, and he had way more Tempest himself. That Zealot Warp in from him won't be able to achieve that much, but at least he won't take too much damage over here. I have the feeling that Luminescent wants to go for Tempest Archon right now from this point on, but he doesn't have that much gas in the bank, Sean.
I mean, getting that many Stargates from Luminescent makes sense in terms of a composition, but in terms of an economy, ooh, this is clever from Luminescent. He's saying, all right, well, I don't have enough gas right now to support this support this much Tempest Colossus production. I'm gonna flood Zealots. I'm gonna be going on the offensive. I'm gonna be attacking you lots. I've got a gold base. I have plenty of resources to spare, but I don't know if he has enough time to pull off that plan.
He has a ridiculous amount of gateways soon, and he also is working on a lot of Stargates. He's producing 5 Tempests at a time. No wonder he has no gas. That is crazy. He is going to overtake his opponent soon in the Tempest count. I believe he is slightly ahead in the air upgrades as well. Is that correct?
Well, it's 1-1 right now for Solid Luck, and 2-2-1. Oh, so good for Luminescent. He's been planning this transition for a long time, and if you can get enough of those Tempests up, that's going to be all she wrote. But Luminescent, well aware that economy is the biggest concern right now for Luminescent. Without enough gas, Luminescent's plan will be completely useless.
Yeah, even losing a few probes is not that bad. I really like that Solid Luck is going to try to push the issue over here. Oh, he might even be able to find 2 Tempests that were in transition to the other side of the map. He one-shots them.
Oh,
2
no,
more.
He's gonna get... He needs to turn around, and he does.
Oh, this is the lottery, man. 4 Tempests for the price of nothing?
Amazingly, Solid Luck is still in the lead in Tempest. An extremely close game number 5. Everything on the line for National Instruments.
Yeah, more Zealots being wiped in on the left top side of the map as well, as Luminescent is working on that Nexus over here.
Oh, and he's gonna
get it as well. And he forced so many defensive Zealots. That is fantastic.
With this max army up for Luminescent, he's looking for the engagement. This expansion is not doing too much, but it looks like the Archons are going to tank that damage at the front. These Colossus having a lot of extra value in the Tempest versus Tempest fight. Oh,
this is a great
Solid
fight
Luck
for Luminescent, I think. Yeah, look at all these Archons. Look at the Stalkers, Sean. They're doing so much damage. All of these Tempests will fall.
Luminescent being driven back suddenly. We see Luminescent on the verge of closing it out for his team. He's been on the defense for almost the entire game. So many thought that National Instruments would be able to lock this series out, but no, GG! Luminescent with a brilliant finishing match.
That was a really solid play by Luminescent. I think he did almost everything right in that later stage. Even got a little unfortunate when he lost 2 or 3 Tempests on the south side of the map. But that was some really cool play. Like, that's just the way that in this day and age of StarCraft, how they like to play super late game PvP with all those Archons and Tempests. And I think he did a really good job.
I mean, an absolutely stunning series from Microsoft. Of course, National Instruments, very clear why they were the #1 seed going into this. Every single game we saw them play, very solid start to finish. Interesting openings, great late games. The PvPs especially showcased some really, really fantastic play. And now that means that Microsoft has won 4 championships at the AHGL. 1 in League of Legends today, another in StarCraft today, and 2 in Seasons 1 and 3 for StarCraft 2. They've won over half of the AHGL championships.
It's pretty ridiculous. Microsoft employees are pretty good at video games, so it seems. It's really fun because I see all the guys high-fiving each other in the hallway, and they seem to be very happy with their victory. And it's well-deserved. They played some good StarCraft today.
And, you know, I think that this makes a lot of sense to bring up the poll that we talked about before the match. What is the best team motto? And I think upon seeing it so long ago in Season 1, you don't even want to laugh. You just go, oh, my God, that's genius. Microsoft's team logo, macro hard Microsoft, has been working so well for them. I can't believe how solid the late game was for Microsoft in all those matchups.
Yeah, they macroed very hard. They microed hard as well. They didn't just micro soft, Sean. They microed hard. They showed some excellent army positioning, great engagements over there, especially in our last game with our Protoss player with a tricky nickname to pronounce, Luminescent, but he did a fantastic job. But really fun PvP and overall a very fun team battle between both companies.
I mean, we saw Microsoft start off very bumpy in the AHGL, but looking at the playoff brackets, they've been training a lot. I know they do a lot of boot camps over the weekend. And I mean, 4-0, 4-0, 4-0, 4-0, and now a 4-1 Microsoft, the AHGL Season 4 winner. National Instruments, of course, making a great run, taking down 2 top early teams, Facebook and Google Zergs, before almost losing to the Googleless, making their inaugural appearance in the grand finals. Definitely excited to see how their team develops next year.
Yeah, it's a super cool bracket just to look, see all these companies participating. And like you said earlier today, Sean, competing is fun on every level. And it may not have been the GSL over here, but it's still a lot of fun to see these guys so passionate and really working towards an event like this and having their own strategies prepared with their own execution. But we've seen a couple of really good and inspiring plays today as well.
I'm super thrilled to announce that in a brief moment, we'll be doing an interview with our winners. I'm doing it, and I have to run there. So we're going to step away to yet again another countdown screen where it will be my pleasure to present them with the first place trophy and, of course, the $5,000 donation courtesy of Blizzard Entertainment to their charity against malaria. See you in 60 short seconds.